Here's my little Sunday lesson for all of you, my friends here. I'm going to take you to church. This is from John Pavlovitz, and you'll understand why I'm reading this, because I've been feeling this the last 4 years, actually longer than that. This American Evangelical Christian church wasn't the plan. Well, it wasn't Jesus' plan. It may have been Constantine's plan, but not Jesus. Evangelicals, with a political leader's ear, publicly shilling for him from the pulpit, influencing a nation's legislation, wielding power from massive, oppugnant megachurches, imposing their will and religious preference on the citizenry. But it was the very thing that Jesus opposed while his feet were on the planet. This bastardized love child of the church and state, calling itself currently the conservative American evangelicalism, would have been unthinkable and abhorrent to Jesus. It is the very thing that is the antithesis of his life and ministry and the grassroots counterintuitive community that he curated in the rural roads, the rugged hillsides, rough neighborhoods, and dusty temples where he spent his days. Christian tradition holds that Jesus rose from the dead, which is a good thing, because the sickness presently being perpetrated in his name in America would have left him spinning in his grave if he were in one. Mission drift happens in all movements, in all organizations, as time creates distance from its origins, and people gradually lose sight of the reason it exists in the first place. In 2,000 years, the American Bible Belt, its version of the church, has found itself so far afield with its benevolent genesis that it would be unrecognizable to its namesake. Christianity was a movement from the street. It was an organic yeast in the dough, formed in the gathering of the rejected and the marginalized and the poor, led by a homeless, illiterate, inherent street preacher, and the modestly assortment of fishermen, prostitutes, and ex-tax collectors who found affinity in his invitation to love radically and to shun power relentlessly. Without a building or lobbyists or national boycotts or political position, it became exactly what it was designed to be: an interdependent community that resembled Jesus. It was visibly different in people who tangibly altered their places they traveled in their life-giving ways. Birthed in the heart of the Roman Empire, in all its might, greed, and conceived power, Christianity was the humble, compassionate, generous resistance to it all. And this is the problem we have right now in America if we profess Christianity. This trumped-up, whitewashed, Republicanized, politicized, upside-down religion currently trying to eat up market share and mandate compliance here is Rome. Is the hypocritical paresis. Is the wide road that Jesus said leads to destruction. Is the love of money at the root of all evil. It is the very thing that Jesus rejected with every fiber of his being and And if we are to resurrect the heart of Jesus in this time and place, this toxic type of religion needs to die. Christianity, as molded by Jesus, was never meant to hold power. It was never supposed to be dominant. It was never about control or brute force or dictating the laws of the land or impose itself on people's lives. It was certainly never about cozying up to a nation's leader with no evidence or regard for humanity. Someone needs to remind the American Evangelical Church and the Catholic Church too. Someone needs to tell the Republican Party. Someone needs to preach it to the Bible Belt and to the celebrity pastors and the mega Christians who don't realize just how much they've lost the plot and just how they've become the opposition to the author. Someone needs to inconvenience these comfortable Christians with the actual words of Jesus himself. Not too long ago, my friend Christopher Stroop, a former evangelical, launched the hashtag Empty the Pews, a social media movement that helped rid the American Evangelical Church of its toxic Christianity, and I'm with him. I'm with him, and the desperate collection of religious and irreligious who share a similar burden for people's well-being. I'm with them because I know this is where Jesus would be. When witnessing to the greed, polluting the religion I loved, Jesus turned over the tables and drove the charlatans out. He openly condemned the power-hungry frauds, leaving God's name to fleece the faithful. These are such days for us, where we claim Christianity or see Jesus as worth emulating, or simply one religion that does no harm, defends the inherent value of people, and doesn't get to make the rules. American Evangelical Christianity, in all its bloated, greedy ambition, is the table that needs to be overturned. And these political bed-making preachers are the pious Jesus called to repentance. And these days, the Evangelical Church here in this country, in all its supremacy and bigotry and bullying, needs to be reminded where it came from. Thank you all for listening. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.